Lesson 34 it is in Physical Sciences. My name is Dinyiko Kosa and you are all welcome. As you always know, we're taking it from grade 10 to 12, so everyone is catered for. Today, I'm talking to you about speed, velocity, and linear momentum. And you know, I start from the basic things and move it up and up as we move on so that everybody can understand what we're talking about. So sit back and enjoy this lesson. Now, we're talking speed and velocity. Now, what is this thing, speed? What is velocity? We're gonna see the difference today. Speed refers to how fast an object moves, okay? How fast an object is moving. And if an object moves, it moves at different speed at different times during that motion. So at some point it moves at 100 kilometers per an hour, at some point 40 kilometers per an hour, at another distance during the same journey at 60 kilometers per an hour. So at the end of it all, what is it that we can talk as being the speed of this object as it was moving? We then begin to talk about something called average speed. So at the end of a journey, an average speed can be calculated for that particular vehicle or an object as given by the distance traveled by the object divided by the time taken. So we can say that speed, which we use small v for it as well, will be equal to the distance traveled divided by the time taken at the end. And this is of course average because we're not looking at all the points along that journey. Okay. Now, for example, here we have a car moving or traveling 500 meters in 25 seconds. What is the average speed? So we're taking only the final, distance covered by this object. So we'll say that average speed will be equal to the distance covered divided by the time it took to cover that distance. This will be 500 meters divided by 25 seconds. Okay, I put in the units so that we see where we're coming from. So this works out to be 20 meters per second. We see where we're coming from in terms of what? Of units. You see meters divided by second is meters per second. So that, of course, then becomes the measuring unit for speed. Now, what is velocity on the other hand? Velocity refers to how much the position of an object changes in a given time interval. Okay? Velocity is a vector quantity, and what do we know about a vector quantity? A vector quantity should give us both magnitude and direction. Okay? And with speed, we're talking about a scalar quantity, so it has got only magnitude. So it tells how much the position of an object changes in a given time interval, including the direction in which the object is heading. Okay. Both velocity and speed are measured in meters per second, as I've just shown here. For motion in the x direction, okay, horizontal plane, moving from this end to that end, we're going to use that displacement, that change in displacement, we would label it as change in the x direction. If that change is along that x direction, we'll say velocity is given by change in the x direction in the horizontal divided by the time taken. For motion along the vertical, it will be y, delta y divided by delta t. Simply from what we know, that this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, so horizontal is represented by x and vertical represented by y there. Okay, now let's have a look at this example here quickly. A car travels 500 meters in 25 seconds to the right. What is the velocity of the car? Exactly the same question as the previous one, but this time it tells you it is going to the right. There is an element of direction here. So you will calculate here your velocity as change in the x direction because it's along the horizontal divided by the change in time. That will be 500 divided by 25. That will be 20 meters per second to the right. Now you see the difference now is because I have to state the direction. Okay, so to the right, simply meaning that this time I'm not only talking speed, I'm talking velocity. Magnitude, 20 meters per second. Direction, to the right. Okay, so I have a vector quantity there. Average velocity is given by the object's total displacement divided by the total time taken. Okay, so the speed of an object at one instant, okay, the speed of an object at one instant, this is something else here, is called instantaneous velocity. It's like you're standing here, something's passing you. At that point where it passed you at some velocity. That becomes an instantaneous velocity. Velocity at an instant, at a point. Let's meet in the next section.